Hello and welcome back to my channel. Here we like to do things budget friendly, and if you are like me and have champagne taste but on a beer budget, these videos are for you. Today is a DIY day. I received some friend mail from lovely Jen from Just Jen, and she had sent me a soap infused sponge. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's not something I've ever tried before. I will put up on the screen the one that she had sent me, but I wanted to get more. And I thought to myself, I bet I could make this. I bet I can make this. So I went online and I did find a recipe. Now, this is the first time attempting this. So this is going to be a video of trial and error. I'm going to modify the recipe a little bit because I don't have the same soap making supplies. I just have regular bar soap, Dove bar soap. I have some perfume oil I'm going to add to it to make it smell a little bit more like vanilla. And then I have a sponge that I had picked up from Target for, I think it was $4.75 after the discount. However, I do have some Temu stuff coming in and a couple of items from Amazon so that I can make some more homemade soap gifts. But for now, just warning you, we are just going to play together and see if what I have works, because I think that this is going to make great holiday gifts. I know we are in the month of October and it's spooky season, but if you want to get a jump start on gift ideas for this Christmas, stay tuned. Products that we're going to be using is a makeshift double boiler. I've seen this done and it works just fine. I've used it in this way and it works just fine. We're going to be using some 91% isopropyl alcohol. We have the Dove Restoring Bar Soap. I have a vanilla perfume oil. This is safe for skin. I use that in making perfumes. And then this is the scrubby dub that I picked up from Target. It's from Earth Therapeutics, an exfoliating body sponge. So I've got my water boiling. I am going to put some soap in my, not a beaker, my glass Pyrex measuring cup, and we'll start with that. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say don't use the whole bar of soap. So I'm just going to start off with about a little bit more than a half of the bar of soap. I'm going to put it in my Pyrex measuring cup, and I'm going to put that right into my boiling water, and we're going to let that melt. And once it's melted, I'm going to stir in a little bit of that perfume oil. Dove bar soap doesn't seem to want to melt. It's been in here for quite some time. And I did use some scissors and chop it up a little bit more. But I'm going to add a little bit of glycerin and see if that's going to give me a little bit of a runnier consistency. Right now, it's just kind of a mush mess. And I know there are soaps with a glycerin base, so this should be relatively harmless as far as putting this on your skin. So I'm going to try stirring that in and seeing what we can come up with. All right, I've had it over the heat for a really long time now, which is way too long, so the integrity of the soap is probably no more good. And all I've got is cream. I need it more liquidy in order to pour it over the sponge in order for this to work, So we're going to revisit this tomorrow when the soap that I ordered from Amazon comes in. We should have a lot better luck. But for this experiment, now we know Dove soap will not liquefy even with glycerin. Welcome back to day number 2. I do have the correct soap making soap. This just came in from Amazon this morning. Stir stick. Pyrex measuring cup, that's going to be utilized for my makeshift double boiler. My exfoliating sponge, I do have a pan that we're going to pour the melted soap in and soak the exfoliating sponge in. Isopropyl alcohol, which I did put into a spray bottle. You will see what that is for in a little bit. And I chose to do some strawberry perfume oil this time around instead of the vanilla. I changed my mind on that. So once this is getting to a nice rolling boil, we will get started. So what I have done is put in about 8 chunks. Well, these two are kind of little, so more like 7 chunks. And then I'm just going to put that into the double boiler. Now it says to use a microwave, but I kind of feel like a microwave can degrade. So I'm just going to use the double boiler and stir it constantly as we go. It's been all of 5 minutes and I now have nice liquid soap. I've turned the burner off. Now I'm just going to add in just a little bit of my strawberry scented perfume oil. I'm not going to put too much in, just about maybe a teaspoon. If you're an Italian cook and you just eyeball everything, that may be about a teaspoon. So I'm going to go ahead, stir this up, and then I'm going to pour it into my dish. Before we pour it in the dish, what we're going to do is we're going to spray the sponge with the rubbing alcohol. It says to do this so that it will absorb that soap into the sponge. It should help it absorb it better because a wet sponge absorbs better than a dry sponge. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm just going to get that a little bit wet here. Okay. Stir this up just a wee little bit. Pour this into my tray. And then it says just to dunk the sponge into the soap. And hopefully I have enough. Let's get everything that we can in there. That was almost the perfect amount. I should have put in just a little bit more so that we could soak this other side just a little bit better. But now it says to let it cool. And letting it cool means sometimes overnight, but to expedite this process, I'm going to put it into the refrigerator and get that going just a little bit more. The only other thing is we do want that rubbing alcohol to dry and dissipate, so it may take some time, but we'll check on it in just a little bit. I'll give it maybe a few hours and see if it's hard enough, and then we will go ahead and test it. when I took this out, I would say maybe 3 hours after it had sat in the refrigerator for a little bit, what I noticed was that the rubbing alcohol had kind of concentrated down to the bottom and it was still kind of wet. So what I did was overnight I left it propped up so that it would have an opportunity to dry. So now that it's all dry, it feels kind of hard, as it should. That's the way the other sponge was out of the package. So let's go ahead and give it a test run to see how this is going to work. I'm just curious to see, is it going to suds? And it does. And it works just like I was hoping it would. And it just feels like regular soap. It feels squeaky clean. And I'm very lightly scented of strawberry. It's not overpowering. So this worked out perfectly. This was so simple to make. It was just 3 ingredients: soap, perfume oil, rubbing alcohol. That's it. And then you melt it, mix it, let it sit, and that's it. That's it. So as far as a DIY project goes, this is probably the easiest one that even somebody who is not used to doing DIY projects, you could do this very easily at home. You could do this with your kids. Just very simple, effective. I have to give it a big thumbs up. And that is all I have for you guys today. If you are new here, I would love it if you considered subscribing. That would be great. Also, tap that hype button. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Boosts my videos up there so that more people can see it within their YouTube algorithms. Comment down below. Let me know. Is this something that you would like to try? Because I tell you what, if you haven't used a soap infused exfoliating sponge, they are amazeballs. Just amazeballs. Thank you, Jen, so much for sending me out the one that you had sent me and inspiring me to do today's project. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If so, give me a great big thumbs up. But until next time, I will see you later. Bye, guys.